Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX with me, Devika Chopra. Top focus right now is a fashion show that has now been held in a ski resort in Jammu and Kashmir's picturesque location called Gulmarg. This fashion show, visuals of which you can see on your screens, was held recently at a ski resort, but it has led to widespread criticism and even outrage. Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah, has said that the outrage is understandable because, as per him, the fashion show is a disrespect of the culture and sensitivities of Jammu and Kashmir. And he further says that why would such obscenity be allowed in the holy month of Ramzan? Joining in the chorus have been several other political and religious leaders from Jammu and Kashmir who say that this sort of obscenity must not be allowed, that this is against the cultural and social fabric of Jammu and Kashmir. But is it really? Or is this major hue and cry about nothing much after all? We take this conversation forward. I have with me on the broadcast Dr. Darakshan Andrabi, Chairperson, JNK Waqf Board, Tahira Hassan, Women's Rights Activist, Shamshavi Shrain, lawyer with us, Abid Wani, JKNC spokesperson, and Varija Bajaj, an Indian fashion designer, also with us. Let me begin this conversation with Abid Wani. Abid Wani, what really is the problem now? Please explain to me with the fashion show that has been organized in Gulmarg.
Well, in the inception of the debate, I must state that it's not a debate about conservatism. It's not a debate about orthodox ideologies striking in somewhere in J&K. It's a debate about moral decency. It's a debate about striking a balance between freedom of expression and freedom of religion, cultural values. Such obscenity and nudity could have been avoided at the time when Muslims are devotedly involved in religious practices. So I think the debate around this whole issue is about moral decency and having the civic sense that should have prevailed with the timing, with the organizers of the event. And despite the fact.
Okay, Mr. Wani, I want to understand from your perspective, there are Muslims all over the world, right?
Right.
So should all economic activities or things like fashion shows stop across the world? Because I want to understand, is the problem that this was done in the holy month of Ramzan? Is the problem the location? What is the problem?
I think the problem is having the moral sense of decency with regard to the sentiments, the local sentiments of the population and the region you're operating in. Probably this is a very sensitive region culturally and rooted with the dynamics of the people of the J&K. You need to understand the whole debate is not about, I initially stated that it's not about conservatism. It's not about being orthodox. I can vouch for people of J&K. They are the most, liberal oriented people in our country. But that being said, some things need to have some moral and ethical limitations. And that's what has scored in right now.
Okay, so from what I can understand is the problem is a location. Had the same fashion show, say, taken place in Delhi, it would not be a problem, right?
Maybe that depends upon the local sensitivities there. I can't watch what people have done in Delhi.
So essentially, no type of fashion show should take place in Jammu and Kashmir because women in, say, swimsuits or bikinis or men in trunks, that goes against the cultural sensitivity of Jammu and Kashmir.
No. I would strictly maintain my guard over saying this, that the obscenity should have been avoided. If it would have been a normal fashion show.
But Mr. Wani, it's a fashion show, and if there are swimsuits involved, I'm sure you're aware that Saudi Arabia has also held its first ever fashion show with swimsuits, right?
Well, I don't live in Saudi Arabia.
You don't live in Saudi Arabia. I'm just giving you a parallel example.
It's a different country. The same example, same yardstick.
But it's a Muslim country.
How does it matter? it is not a debate of Hindu versus
That's what
Muslim.
I'm.
It's not.
No, it's not about Hindu Muslim. I'm not saying, but you're talking about religious and cultural sensitivity.
I
Whose
completely, I
religious and cultural
completely,
sensitivity?
completely get the sense where you are coming from. So I would be very, abrupt in saying that the fashion show, all about the fashion. There have been fashion shows in J&K all over the year, around the clock. But in the month of Ramzan, when you practice a fashion show which is very obscene
Okay.
and doesn't go well in very moral limits, so I
Okay.
think there would be a debate around
Okay,
it.
so the problem is the month of Ramzan, right? So if the same fashion
Obviously,
show
yes.
took place in, say, June, it would not be a problem.
I wouldn't say that. That depends
So
upon
everything is
how
a
the
problem, basically. We're back to square one where everything is a problem. Okay. I want to
it's not
take,
a
okay.
problem.
Okay. Do we have, I will require an update on the guests with us as well, please, as quickly as I can get. But Dr. Darakshan Andrabi, if I can bring you into the conversation, could you please help explain what really is the problem? Is the problem that the fashion show has been held in the holy month of Ramzan, or is the problem that it's been held in Gulmarg, or are all of the above problems?
जहाँ तक मुझे लगता है कि जो आपका सवाल है कि ये गुलमर्ग में है या होली रमदान में है, कश्मीर का कल्चर अभी हमारा ऐसा कल्चर ही नहीं है कि जिस तरह से कल वो गुलमर्ग में हुआ और होली रमदान के टाइम पे हुआ। ये बहुत ही अचंभा वाला रहा हमारे लिए, क्योंकि हम इस कल्चर में नहीं रहते हैं और जिस तरह से वो सारा हुआ और वायरल हुआ, तो इस पे तो जितना हम कहें कि बीइंग ए कश्मीरी, आपने जैसे इनसे सवाल पूछा कि सऊदी अरबिया में ऐसा हुआ या वहाँ फैशन शो हुआ, देखिए हर एक का अपना कल्चर रहता है, हर एक के अपने प्रिंसिपल्स हैं। और गुलमर्ग में जो कल हुआ है, जो हमें नहीं लगता है कि इस मंथ में ऐसा होना चाहिए था, क्योंकि जिस चीज को हमने कभी एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं किया इस तरह से, वो शायद हमारी सोसाइटी में ठीक नहीं है, जिसको पूरे लोगों ने कंडम किया। तो एक इंसान के कहने से वो अच्छा है या बुरा है, वो इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है।
तो डॉक्टर अंद्रावी, फिर मैं आपसे यही समझना चाह रही हूँ कि दिक्कत है कि रमज़ान के महीने में हुआ या दिक्कत है कि गुलमर्ग में हुआ, या अगर यही सेम फैशन शो मई में होता, जून में होता, जुलाई में होता, तो क्या वो ठीक होता?
देखिए, एक तो रमजान था, इसलिए ये बिल्कुल गलत है। गुलमर्ग की बात नहीं है, कहीं पे भी रमजान में होता, रमजान शरीफ में होता, ये बिल्कुल गलत है, क्योंकि हम ऐसी चीज़ों को रमज़ान में एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं कर सकते हैं। चाहे कुछ भी हो, चाहे गुलमर्ग हो, डलगेट हो, पहलगाम हो, ऐसी चीज़ें रमज़ान में कहीं पे भी एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है।
Okay.
और तरह से वो है तो कश्मीर का वो मतलब ही नहीं है। हमारे यहाँ पे कपड़े पहने जाते हैं, बिल्कुल स्नो में भी वो फैशन शो कराया कि कोई भी स्नो में उस तरह से न्यूडिटी नहीं हो सकती है, तो ये शायद सबों के लिए बड़ी परेशानी थी और अच्छा ही नहीं लगा, सीधी बात है।
Okay, Taira Hassan, bringing you into the conversation. Taira Hassan, do you feel that the designers were insensitive in choosing Gulmarg as the location for their fashion show? And do you think that there would be same criticism if the same fashion show had been held in, say, in Shimla or in any other hill station for that matter?
First, I want to say that there's nothing wrong in organizing fashion shows, but this thing should not be dragged. Religion should not be dragged into it. But as a women rights activist, I think that obscenity cannot be allowed. Women body is not a commodity. Whether it is they are making a commodity for the marketing in Gulmarg, or it is also part of the India, or in Delhi, or in my city Lucknow, wherever they may. But I think they are just making the women a commodity and object. to sell their products, sell their clothes. So this cannot be accepted by the we women rights activists. Women body is not to just you glorify that tall and slim women. What you are doing like that, you are setting unrealistic.
But Taira ji, now we are on a completely different tangent altogether. So earlier we were told that it's against the cultural sensitivities of Jammu and Kashmir. You are saying that this is women are being commodified, and as you were making that comment, we've just put our photographs of how men were also there in swimming trunks. So it wasn't just women who were in swimsuits or in bikinis at this particular fashion show. Men were also in swimming trunks. How does one showcase swimwear in a fashion show without putting out men and women in that swimwear?
Portraying the women like that, that it is degrading them. They can do the fashion show, but don't glorify and fix the unrealistic beauty standards. As I told you, slim and tall.
Okay.
It leads to the mental health of the women. We are more concerned about it.
Okay, I want to bring in Shram. Is Shram Shabish Jain with us?
Yes. Hi.
Okay, Shram Shabish Jain, I don't know how much of the earlier conversation you've been able to hear. I also want to understand I'm a little confused now within say about 11 to 12 minutes of this conversation, because none of the people who say that this was wrong are really being able to explain why. And when they're posed a very direct question, I've asked, that is the problem that because it's happened in the holy month of Ramzan? Is the location the problem? Is what they were wearing a problem? So no one's really been able to tell me what the exact problem is. In your perspective, were the fashion designers wrong to have chosen to portray this sort of a fashion show, which had swimwear in it as well, in a location like Gulmarg in the holy month of Ramzan? And if so, then why should it really be allowed in any other part of India or any other part of the world where people have similar religious or cultural sensitivities? Why should it be okay in Delhi?
I have heard the complete conversation over here. Starting with that, why this happened, I would agree to what all the speakers have said, especially Mr. Wani over here. Understanding that this is a holy month of Ramzan, so there are few things that you can avoid. Had it been this was 9th day का जो व्रत होता है, what's that called? उसको बोलते क्या? नवरात्रि अगर हो, yeah. So अगर नवरात्रि होता and then something this sort of would have happened in Ayodhya or Banaras or such kind of
How Ayodhya? How are you comparing Ayodhya and Banaras to Gulmarg?
Let me complete over there.
No, first you please answer my question. I want to understand the comparison you've made. No, because I'm comparing what Gulmarg is at the end of the day, a hill station, or is it a religious site now?
No, it is.
What is the comparison?
But as it is said that it is a Sufi place wherein people really believe into that the Islam is taken onto a different tangent there. So looking into that, few things that can be avoided, that is something that it is everyone's moral responsibility. Then you spoke about things happening in Saudi Arabia. If the similar thing has happened during the month of Ramzan, then you have a point to say कि भाई वहाँ हुआ तो यहाँ भी हुआ. No, it happened there. They have opened their own ground for the modeling, for the bikini modeling and all, but not in the month of Ramzan. All right. So if you are comparing, it should be.
Ma'am, I didn't make that comparison for the holy month of Ramzan. I made it because I was told that the clothes were obscene. That swimsuits in a place like Gulmarg, being showcased in a place like Gulmarg, is obscene. So I said Saudi Arabia has hosted its first ever swimwear fashion show.
Yes, but not during Ramzan.
I never said that it was during the month of Ramzan. That's what I'm saying. All of you have mixed up so many issues and so many matters. You've just compared Gulmarg to Ayodhya and Banaras. By that logic, every part of India has a religious aspect to it. Every
So-
single part of India has some religious history. So does Delhi.
Yes, we agree to it. So if you come to Jama Masjid and then you say कि यहाँ पर होगा, no. If
तो
you come
मैम
to
जामा मस्जिद में थोड़ी ना हुआ है, ये क्या बात हुई? How are we say? It's in a
That-
ski resort in Gulmarg. It's in a ski resort in Gulmarg. Now you're saying Jama Masjid. That's what I'm saying. Look at the escalation of the matter that has taken place.
escalation of matter has not happened the way everyone has been portraying it. It's not. It is a simple thing that if you can ignore it, ignore it. Look, if some Hindu intentionally goes to a masjid and say Jai Shri Ram, or a Muslim goes to a temple and says Allahu Akbar, they are doing it intentionally. All right. So same way, if during the month of Ramzan you know that the population is of completely Muslims, had it been a modeling wherein it was for a hijab or the attire wherein Eid aa rahi hai, to uski shopping ke liye we could have understand all of that, because hijab and all of that आजकल जो भैया वो सारे कपड़े चल रहे, we could understand that. But bikini at the time of Ramzan Muslim area में, that is wrong. I understand कि ठीक है वो
Ma'am, how is a ski resort in Gulmarg a Muslim area? You tell me this first.
Sorry,
How is a ski resort in Gulmarg a Muslim area?
where is that ski resort?
In Gulmarg, but how is that radius where the fashion show has taken place a Muslim area? Are we to now start dividing India as per 5 kilometer radius and 10 kilometer radius and oh यहाँ पे इधर ज़्यादा मुस्लिम है 5 किलोमीटर में तो यहाँ कुछ मत करिए, यहाँ ज़्यादा हिंदू है 5 किलोमीटर में तो यहाँ कुछ मत करिए?
अगर
ये आर्ग्यूमेंट कहाँ जा रहा है, मुझे तो समझ में नहीं आ रहा. शमशबी श्रेन जी, I want to take this forward with Mr. Abid Wani. Mr. Abid Wani, is this
वहां पर ही होगा.
Mr. Abid Wani, is this the point that the JKNC was trying to raise? Because you said in the beginning that it's nothing to do with conservatism.
Well, I will put all the debate in the right perspective because all the confusion has suddenly erupted. You know, the point Tahiraji was making, objectifying women, I won't, say anything about that. She has more right to say on it than I can say anything about the objectification of women. What I am saying is that here in J&K, we don't endorse, a mentality which somehow proposes a vague analogy that civilized society is synonymous to obscenity and vulgarity. I don't endorse that view. Even nobody in J&K does that. If it had been a fashion show, with participants respecting, the moral level, they could have taken this show to, alienating themselves from obscenity. I don't think anybody would have, claimed any objections on that because the obscenity was, open in the month of Holy Ramzan. That's what I think, erupted the whole issue.
I want to bring in Varija Bajaj, a fashion designer, into this conversation as well. Varija Bajaj, do you feel that the fashion designers were insensitive in choosing the location, especially when they know that J&K is majority Muslim?
Thank you for bringing in, and I have been witnessing a lot of self-contradictory conversation over here. So to put things in perspective, the designers who showcase, they are swimwear designers, Shivan Narresh, and they are worldwide known for their swimwear. And they showcase swimwear at a ski resort because it is also the time for tourists to come in. My brothers came in from Gulmarg yesterday. They went for skiing. So it is not targeted towards the locals, but to the tourists. Either then Gulmarg has to stop all the tourists coming in. You can't be selective about that. This is what we want to showcase and this is what we don't want them to witness. Secondly, if they're swimwear designers, do we block or seize all the swim pools or swimming pools in Gulmarg during the holy month of Ramadan? Or it is like saying, I mean, nobody's insensitive here. Nobody's saying that wear a bikini to a masjid or a mandir or wear a sari to a swimming pool. You will definitely wear. I mean, you just can't close your eyes and say that I will not wear. And there was nothing obscene about it. And somebody, Tahira ji spoke about slim women. If she's seen the figures, there were plus size models as well who showcased at this fashion show. So I don't really see where, if Kashmir has opened up to the world for tourism, then they have to open up for everything. They can't be selective about that. Here we are going to behave like Afghanistan, and here we are going to entertain tourists, but we are going to put blinders to 10 other things. If you're part of India, then you're part of India all across. There is nothing about Kashmir and Delhi happening here. So you can't be selectively be part of India where it suits Kashmir, and where it doesn't suit, you conveniently just opt out. There are Muslims all
Okay.
across the country. If it is not valid in Gulmarg, then it's not valid all across the country. Then the swimming pools should be seized during this time of the year across the country. And if that's not valid, then it's not valid in Kashmir as well. That's my
Okay,
thought.
I want to bring in Abid Wani to respond to that. Abid Wani, you've just heard the perspective of a fashion designer. How do you respond?
Well, perfectly well. I agree to some part of what Varija said, especially when it's related to some, designer organizing some, events which will definitely promote economic activity in a region. But here I'm saying about, something culturally. We are inbound with something very deep-rootedly in J&K. And that's what is in the minds and the hearts of the people. And that's why this whole scene erupted. I told you that we don't endorse here the synonymity of being civilized and promoting, nudity and vulgarity. This is the sort of mentality here in J&K we have, and it's not a vague definition of having this sort of mentality. We are people of most liberal orientation, but there are some things that definitely annoy us when we see such things, completely disregarding the sentiments of the local population here during the most sacred month. Definitely, we will, ask questions about it. Have the timing been avoided? Have there been, a different timing chosen for this event? Maybe we wouldn't have sparked such a controversy.
Taira Hassan, you've also heard what the fashion designers now had to say at this point in time, Varija Bajaj. What is your perspective on, she's just made a simple point that, listen, this is a fashion show that's targeted at tourists. When you see people who are sitting in the audience, this is not something that's happening in the Lal Chowk in Srinagar for public to come and witness, and for the designers or the models to intentionally hurt public sentiment. A ski resort in Gulmarg has been booked privately, and a private fashion show has taken place there. Obviously, we live in the world of social media, so there will be photographs and things will go viral. But what about the economic activity that such events will also bring to places like Gulmarg? So is that something that the government of J&K really wants to give up on by simply becoming a moral police at this point in time, saying that it's vulgar and obscene? And honestly, there is no nudity that has taken place. There are people in swimwear. There's a huge difference between the two.
In winters,
I agree with you that they are in the swimwear.
It
No-
could be
no doubt.
winter,
Also,
spring,
this is the-
autumn, summer. That, Mr. Vani, is the decision of the fashion designer.
when you are promoting things, when you are organizing things, you carry out that responsibility with you. When
It
you're
is summers in
Okay.
Goa, sir.
Yes, precisely. Okay, Taira Hassan, come back in.
I just want to say why I don't get the point. Why not in the Ramzan, but after Ramzan it can be organized. If the culturally we don't accept these things, making women a commodity or commodity, whatever, as an object, why only in Ramzan? After Ramzan it is okay. If you
No,
project the
Taira
women
Hassan,
like a-
then my
I mean, this
larger
is
question is also
property.
valid. No,
You
Shram
take
Shavish
it
Rain,
up to
Shram Shavish Rain
which
has
not be
equated,
expected
Shram Shavish
anywhere
Rain,
in
Taira
India.
Hassan, Shram Shavish Rain has equated Gulmarg to Ayodhya and Banaras.
No,
How
this
does
is
that
not-
make
This
sense?
is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Don't drag religion into it, bhai. It's a question we're talking of the women that whether this is their profession. I'm not saying they are doing this thing. They are the bad women. Not at all. It's a women's prerogative to decide what they want to wear, what they want to do. But only I'm saying that they are used as for the marketing. That
Okay.
don't agree, I object, I
Okay.
condemn.
Okay, I
The
wanna-
women
okay.
are
Abid
object,
Wani-
I will repeat and put the emphasis on it.
Okay.
Not only Ramzan. Again, I will put the emphasis, not only Ramzan, not in every month.
Okay, I want to
In the
understand,
India.
Abid Wani, I
No
want to understand
hostility
from you.
can be accepted.
I want to understand from you. Omar Abdullah has now ordered an inquiry into the matter. What exactly are you hoping to find?
I think there was no involvement of any government officials. The probe was just to decide what has happened on the ground actually. Who has permitted? Has there any permission being sought to hold any event of such scale in open air in Gulmarg? So there needs to be some modalities and codal formalities we need to check. And if that's okay, I don't think there would be any action taken. But yes, if there is something which has gone out of law there and has somehow violated the law, definitely there will be action. And I think there comes in the sense of moral responsibility that you carry along when you organize such events, especially the organizers who were celebrating the 15th anniversary, the designer duo. So I think there needs to
And
be
yes,
some limitations.
but perhaps one would think that it's a great honor that someone would want to celebrate a landmark occasion in a beautiful place. But that's a separate point of view altogether. Varija Baraj, I leave the last word with you. Is it possible for the designers to have violated any sort of law or to organize a fashion show without the requisite permissions? Or do fashion designers require a lot of permission from, say, the state governments, etc., to organize any shows anywhere else in the country?
Not really. So I believe the organizers of the ski resorts, they would have sought possibly all the permissions required, like the entertainment license, the music license, and all of that. They wouldn't have flouted anything, but I do understand that the political parties, they have to keep their vote banks happy. So whatever the local public is has brought this as an outrage, so they are also getting into action. I just hope that the designers are not made scapegoats of this whole thing made overtly sensitive and blown out of proportion, because it was purely done as keeping, as much as the rest of the India wants Kashmir to be part of them, Kashmir also has to take an action to be part of the rest of India. And if the designers who are more resort wear designers, if they have gone out of their way to go to Kashmir all the way and not do this in Goa, I think they should be entertained, because their target was not the local public or being insensitive towards them, but to make them part of the larger inclusive India, I think.
Okay, all right. That's all the time that we have. We leave it there, and I thank all of our guests for joining us to take this conversation forward with our viewers. We sip into a very quick break.